Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm calling this meeting of the Village Board of Trustees, August 25th, 2025, at 7 p.m. to order. Clerk Lauken, roll call, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova. Here. Trustee Constantos.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar is not here, and Trustee Sabri.
Here.
Trustee Kumar is.
Just back to him.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, if we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next is amendments to the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the agenda for putting 7A, the presentation to the VFW, to after 10D staff reports to it.
I'll second.
I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you for the motion. Second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Trustee Sabri. Any discussion? Okay, voice vote.
I'm sorry. All ayes?
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it.
Okay, moving forward, item 4, public comments on agenda items.
Robert Wagner?
Thank you. I'm here to talk about 11B on the agenda, that's the creation of the Green Commission. First off, I just want to say, and I've said it before, I appreciate the effort to envision a new commission structure, but I think that this process would have been benefited greatly from the input of the community, the staff, the village board, and the past commissioners. It's something that Trustee Cordova and Trustee Kumar had both mentioned. Specifically with regards to 11B, I won't even attempt to read the actual name of the commission because it would take up a great deal of my 3 minutes, but I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just call it the Environment and Sustainability Commission? No one's ever going to remember all the items in its name. One thing that stood out to me was subsection T, and this has been mentioned before, describes Spring Sweep as a village-wide cleanup, not a recycling event. And you may know that the past Environmental Concerns Commission and the Community Focused on Unifying Neighbors Commission have partnered on that event since 2019. And I would say that it's a pretty successful event. Usually attracts close to, over 400 village residents. So I'd like a clarification about that. Are we doing away with Spring Sweep the way it exists for the last 6 years, or are we creating a new event? The other thing that struck me was the number of duties that this commission is being entrusted with. Quite a bit for a 5-member commission. The other thing that struck me was the fact that the description of the commission seems to greatly overlap with the duties of the Garden Village Commission and the Plan Commission. I would also mention in closing, it mentions the Salt Creek watershed. That's certainly a worthy goal, but you may know that the village already is a member of the DuPage River Salt Creek Work Group. Deputy Public Works Director Rich Salerno attends those meetings on a regular basis. So it's a worthy goal, but we're already involved with a a group that is very much involved in protecting that watershed. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Tony Gall? Thank you.
Hello, Tony Grallo, 416 South Villa. I just want to thank the board for adding Mickey's to the agenda today. I really appreciate that. They mean a lot to me. I went in there a few weeks ago and found out that they were closing, and I immediately went on, well, Dave gave me permission to post it on Facebook, and the amount of outpouring we got from this community was insane. Thank you to the community, bringing back memories. My phone wouldn't stop pinging all day. Bing, 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 the amount of comments from people in the community that are going to miss Mickey's. It's a huge deal to this community, and it's sad they're going to go. But Dave, hope you have a happy retirement. I started there when I was 15. I knew nothing, and then Annette hired me, and I learned a lot from that place. I was there for, I think, 5 to 8 years. I just learned a lot from them. Work was fun. The hot dogs were great. Free food was amazing as a broke college student. They treated me well. They were a family atmosphere, and I'm truly going to miss them. So I just wanted to say thank you to the board. Thank you to Dave and Annette. Annette told me I better not make her cry. I see she's already crying. So I apologize for that. But yeah, thank you so much.
I have one comment that was sent in from an individual that would like me to read that comment today on agenda item from Joe Amore, 12A. It says, "Dear Rolf, please read this tonight, 8/25/25 Village Board meeting. I was proud to serve on the former Environmental Concerns Commission with our former junior commissioner, Ivan Figaro. He brought an informed viewpoint to every conversation and never once considered him an unequal. I applaud opening commissions to allow as many as 2 junior commissioners, but question the need to require a parent or guardian to be, and in quotes, be accompanied by at least parent or guardian who shall remain present throughout the commission meeting or event." End of quote. I fail to understand this need as our youth are well schooled at home and through education systems how to spot and report predatory behaviors. This requires a commitment from the parent or guardian to be present at all times. This despite the requirement that all commissioners serving with junior commissioners would be vetted by the Director of Human Resources. These commissioners and future junior commissioners were and will be handpicked by President Patrick. These requirements would impede, not encourage junior commissioners to serve and invite favoritism by having sitting commissioners include their own children on the commissions. Look at any youth sports team where a parent is the coach or the star player. Not unexpected from this administration. Respectively, Joe Amore. And I hit that 3-minute deadline. Joe hit that 3-minute deadline. And that are all the comments that we have now on agenda items. And we have Cheryl Tucker on non-agenda item.
Before we get to that, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak on public comments on agenda items? Anybody for agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Moving along to public comments on non-agenda items.
I'll make this short and brief. I know that our president said that we have coffee with the board settled and that we're in a situation. There has been a lot of concerns that you guys haven't resolved it, even though he said it was. So they're looking forward to the coffee with the board coming up on the 6th to go forward, because I guess there's a lot of people that have important issues they wanted to bring to coffee with the board and talk one-on-one with some of the trustees on it. The second thing is the e-bikes. A lot of people said they haven't seen anything out on it. I don't know if it's gone through the school system, if it's on the web port, how they're doing it, but people that don't have kids in school, a lot of them are making comments that they still don't know what's going on with the e-scooter run, and the information hasn't been publicized. So I don't know where the police are at with that, or how you guys are at on publicizing the e-scooters to get more information out, because there's a lot of residents that are still being bothered by fear of hitting kids and doing things, and with the school year starting and more of them are using them in other ways, they're saying they're not seeing where you're at with it. So that's all my comments.
Thank you. I have a comment from Chris Duck.
Before we get there, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak on public comments on non-agenda items? On non-agenda items? Okay.
I have a comment from Chris Deckworth. Chris Deckworth did not ask me to actually read that comment, so I'm not going to take that.
We're going to put that into, we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
Do you have any others?
I do not.
Okay, is there any other comments on non-agenda items? Seeing none, moving along to proclamations. Manager Rivas.
Before we get to that, could I just, Ms. Tucker, could I just address something about the e-scooters? There was a post by the police department on August 12th, on Facebook. If you take a look at it, it's very informative, and it covers everything about e-scooters. We have now covered the e-bike section yet. That's coming.
Okay, you want to do it? You want to do it? Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. If we could have some of the representatives from Mickey's Hot Dogs please step forward. Hi, if you'd like to, hi, Mike Rivas, how you doing? First off, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Annette Martins. I started Mickey's in 1979. David has worked with us from day one, and he actually worked with my mom at the original store before that. 14 years ago, I retired, and Dave took over. And now it's his turn.
The aforementioned Dave, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, my name is Dave Bruder. I'm a Villa Park resident for 35 years. This was Annette's baby. Can't help it, Annette. She started it 46 years ago, nurtured it, taught me how to run the business, and turned it over to me 14 years ago. And it's been a really good run, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for allowing us to come here and speak tonight. It was a really hard decision for us to close, but for us, it was the right time. For me, it was the right time to retire. It was the right time for me to call it quits. I'm going to miss all of the customers, and I look forward to a happy, fun, long retirement.
It's not that much fun.
Well, thank you.
And if you allow me, I'll read this proclamation. It says, proclamation recognizing August 25th, 2025 as Mickey's Monday in the Village of Villa Park. Whereas Mickey's Hot Dogs has been a cherished establishment in the Village of Villa Park for 60 years, servicing delicious hot dogs and bringing joy to residents and visitors alike. And whereas Mickey's Hot Dogs was inducted into the Vienna Beef Hot Dog Hall of Fame in 2006. Congratulations. And whereas Mickey's Hot Dogs fostered a sense of community spirit and encouraged residents to appreciate local business. And whereas Mickey's Hot Dog became a beloved place where people met friends laughed, and generations of families gathered together for the hot dog special. And now, therefore, I, Kevin Patrick, President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby proclaim and recognize August 25th, 2025 as Mickey's Monday in the Village of Villa Park, in witness whereof I have hereto set my hand on this 25th day of August, signed Kevin Patrick, Village President, and Ralph Laukent, Village Clerk. We have 4 copies for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's take a picture. Take a picture.
Absolutely.
Village Board, can we take a picture?
I know something here. I think I just pulled somebody's microphone off.
Still going to be in town.
I know, I'm the same way. With some Italian beef, too.
I'm there once a week.
Hungry. Dog special, pizza puff.
Like everybody's kids works there.
Go ahead. Thank you. Right.
Thanks again. All right, moving along, we are going to move to Section 8, Appointment to Commissions. 8A, appointment of Susan Micah as the member to the Fire Pension Board for the remainder of Chuck Howard's term expiring April 30th, 2027. Also, the appointment of Susan Bachman as Commissioner to the Senior Concerns Commission for a term expiring April 30th, 2026. The appointment of Jason Jarrett as board member to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the ZBA, for a term expiring May 31st, 2026. Appointment of Alan Hassler to the Commission to the Plan Commission for a term expiring May 31st, 2026. The appointment of Bridget Kingstrom as a junior commissioner to the Fund Commission for a term expiring May 31st, 2026. And the appointment of Madeline Flaskamp as commissioner to the Fund Commission to fill the vacant term that expires 4/30/28. Do I have a motion for the appointments?
Make that motion.
Trustee Constados? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano? Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Roll call or voice?
Roll call, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Moving along to 9, the consent agenda. The approval of the minutes of Village Board of Trustees meeting held on June 23rd, 2025. Bill listings for the weeks of July 28, 2025 in the amount of $730,897.63, and August 4th, 2025 in the amount of $529,390.11, as well as a resolution approving a side letter to the collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council on behalf of the Villa Park Police Sergeants and Lieutenants, amending certain dates. and a resolution approving a side letter to the collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council on behalf of the Villa Park patrol officers amending certain dates. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Constados? Second, Trustee Sabri? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving along to Section 10, Staff Report. We'll start with the Finance Report, please. Manager Rivas.
Well, I'd like to introduce Finance Director Susie Micah, who will be presenting the finance report for July.
Good evening. In your packet is the monthly report for the month of July, and the summary is as follows. Your general fund year-to-date revenues as of July 31st, 7 months into the fiscal year, totals roughly $15.4 million, which is about 55% of the 2025 annual budget, and it's $3.1 million less than the revenues received at this period last time this year. One variance is due to the delay in miscellaneous revenues and operating transfers being recorded. I'm collaborating with our new accounting manager to bring the village's reconciliations up to date, while we have recently also recruited for our current accountant position, and we're waiting from that candidate comes on board. The other differential that we're going to be recording, and I'm going to be doing this within the next month, is that even though it looks that there's $3.1 million less this year than last year, as I stated last month, that's because the $2.2 million in FEMA monies that was received, it shouldn't have been recorded in the general fund. So I'm going to be moving that out so that you have a better, accurate portrayal on the analyses, so that'll be cleaner for you next month for the month of August. But when you take that into consideration, compare July 31st of this year compared to July 31st of next year, we're only $900,000 shy, meaning short of where we were last year. But that's not a true portrayal because, like I said, there's some miscellaneous items like investment income that we need to record, the transfers, and if you do that, it'll probably net out. But again, until I have those done, I can't give you a definitive number, but that's where we're landing at this moment. At 7 months into the fiscal year, we should have received about 58% of our budgeted revenues as a benchmark for performance. Right now, we're at 55% with those few revenue margins that weren't recorded. So even with that not being recorded, I believe that we are on par. Revenues for the other funds are currently underperforming compared to where our budgeted expectations were. I am working with our department heads to kind of take a look at that as we're working on the 2026 budget and looking at where we're ending in 2025. So the month of September, there'll be a lot of collaborating and budget meetings that we'll have to have a clearer picture of this so that I can give you a more fulfilled report in that aspect from those funds. As of July 31st also, the overall general fund expenditures are only at 44%. So at this time, they should be at 58%, we're at 44%, so that's good. That means that we, as we noticed that earlier in the year, we noticed that there were some budgeted expenditures that weren't budgeted for, and so we're trying to close that gap, and with that, we're being cognizant of that and able to report on that we are staying below the line so that we can meet those previously mandated funds that were not budgeted for. Currently, the general fund revenues total $15.4 million, and the expenditures are at $14.2 million. That looks like that there's an overall positive balance of $1.2 million. However, with that $2.6 million shortfall that wasn't budgeted for that police pension transfer that wasn't done, or budget that wasn't done for the fund, if you look at the last page of the report, which is your cash flow analysis, I included that additional $1.2 million that still needs to be recorded because we only transferred half of that. So if you take a look at that and put that in from where we are with revenues and expenses, we're actually in the positive or in the black at $45,590. So again, if you take in a couple of those miscellaneous revenues that I haven't been able to record and bring up to par, we're doing pretty well in terms of where we thought we were looking at last month and for this year in terms of what we're trying to close the gap on. We still need to record those miscellaneous revenues, but like I said, we're working on that. An analysis of each of the other funds, The capital project funds are on par pending a transfer from the general funds. The DUI Technology Fund and Drug Control Fund are performing at positive ending balances. The TIF 7 performance appears to be negative, but the big reason for that is because they're a year behind in the delay of collecting property tax money, so, because your property taxes are a year in arrears anyways, and once we get that recorded, it'll be in the black, so I'm not concerned about that fund at all. TIPs 3, 5, and 6 are performing positively at this moment, and they continue to perform that way. And then right now, in the report, it shows that TIP 4 is open, but it isn't. One thing that was brought to my attention is that we did a DTIF, RETIF with TIP 4 into TIP 7, so I have to close that out and get that recorded from an accounting perspective and roll that into TIP 7, but there's nothing to be concerned about from a financial perspective. The MFT fund, hotel motel tax, the NESPA funds are all showing positive ending balances, which means that they're performing really well at this point. The recreation and park funds are currently not performing positively, but it just came to my attention that some of their revenues hasn't been recorded on the back end, so they have it recorded in one of their software, and they need to bring it up to our ERP software and finance. So once they get that recorded, we'll have a better idea of where they stand. So I'm working very closely with the Parks and Recreation Director on that, and we'll have a better idea next month as we, again, start doing our one-on-one meetings and to close the gap in terms of working on the 2026 budget. The Street Improvement Fund is being monitored. The 2025 budget includes an approval to go borrow from fund balance at $7.5 million. So even though right now it's showing, I believe it's 1.2 million in the hole, even though that looks bad, it's really not, because we still have to do the transfers into the capital fund from the general fund. And then again, we did anticipate to borrow from fund balance to be able to get those projects done. So from where we're at and what we're anticipated to be at, what was budgeted, we're doing fairly well in that instance. But the other part of the capital side is that the project is ongoing, so the invoices don't come in until the end of the project. So I'll be working very closely with the Public Works Director to make sure that we're monitoring that and keeping an eye on that and have a true idea as we're looking at where we're going to land at the end of 2025. The Stormwater Buyout Fund is currently operating at a deficit. However, there are bond proceeds that are specifically allocated to cover those expenses. So again, the Public Works Director and I will be closely working together to get that closed out and to do the net on that to bring it together. As I look at what's sitting in that bond fund and what's been spent in the Stormwater Fund, it looks to be a net zero or close enough to it. So I'm not concerned about that analysis or where that fund is going financially. And lastly, the water and sewer funds are both operating at positive levels, so that's a good thing. As you'll see, I've included the cash flow analysis on that very last page. It's unaudited through July 31st. I've made some of the manual adjustments, such as that bond or the payment for the police pension fund in there, so that shows you that there's a surplus of $45,590 for the general fund. Right now, as we're looking at the general fund, we're approximately 145 days with cash on hand. However, I want to caution as we have to do transfers out and as we get some of those recordings that aren't in there, that's going to be plus or minus where we're at, determining how things flow for next month. But at this moment, at the end of July, that's where we're at.
Thank you. Excellent. Any questions from the board? Good. Okay, seeing none. Thank you. Moving along to 10B, our FOIA report. Manager Rivas?
At 6:05 PM, we emailed you 50 pages of the FOIA report. We did not have them ready for the packet at this time. The person who normally puts those together is doubling as our deputy chief and then also our HR manager. So he's very busy. He apologizes. But we have it. We can post it on the website if you so desire at the latest FOIA report.
Excellent. Yes, let's do that. Thank you. All right, moving forward to 10C, Parks Project as of August 4th, 2025. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. We, for 10C and 10D, we decided to just include these just to give everyone kind of an update of all the different projects that's been going on in town that are parks and public works related. This was asked by one of our elected officials here at the dais, so we just thought this would be a good way to just kind of present that. We do have both directors from both offices if anyone has any additional questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I do have some questions, particularly about the sidewalk program, because I do believe that that was the main question was, I know it says various locations, and the questions that we keep fielding are, what are the various locations? Is there a map? Is there a plan? What is the plan? Can we see the plan? Where can we find the plan? Can we get a few more specifics than just various locations at this time, or when can we expect to get more information?
Director Ware, the floor is yours, sir.
I'm sorry, I only caught a few of that.
Oh, so the biggest question that we get are the sidewalk programs, and I know that it says various locations, but the questions that we field are, what are those locations? When? Where can we find that information? What is the list? You can't just, like, we have a project, like a management plan, right? So what are those locations?
So the sidewalk plan is kind of a various of different subjects. So we have the 50/50 program, which we have a listing. We don't publish that because obviously if we're not out to bid, the residents haven't participated in terms of their portion of it. The sidewalk program for 2025 is on the web. That was the one we added. A map was sent out and posted on the website of all the locations that were included in this year's bid, along with all the additional locations that was approved by the board. Moving forward in the future, we keep a running tally of the 50/50 program of people that have requested, and then as the budget is approved, we put together those packages and notify the residents that are included, and then we move down. Additional sidewalks are also addressed with our capital plan. So as we move forward with our capital projects, those sidewalks are addressed within those capital plan locations. So it's kind of a plan. In terms of the sidewalk management plan, we have kind of completed a 30,000-foot view of sidewalk conditions throughout the village. That was completed, and then we're utilizing that to help identify locations for future planning in addition to the 50/50 program. The 50/50 program, since I've been here, is about a 3-year backlog. I think if you totalize it all, it was over $300,000 to $400,000. We've started making strides to get that knocked down. But sidewalks have been, I would say, minimally addressed over several decades. So unfortunately, we do have a large backlog, and it is taking some time to work through it. But our plan is to chip away at all that as we move forward and as budget comes about. I don't know if that answers it, but it's kind of a moving target of, we try to address all the 50/50 program as much as we can, and then throw in additional locations as it relates to ADA sidewalk ramps, and then bad locations throughout town. We started seeking funding this year, and I believe that's Representative Cheryl Bearlock gave us the $600,000. That was kind of based on that initial assessment of conditions of the sidewalk. So we don't have exact locations as we are working through a 5-year to 10-year plan this fall and into the budget cycle. So I should have a better idea of locations for the next couple years in budget time as we are working on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do we go about, like, what's the most important, and how do you go by is it first come, first serve, or is it like the most sidewalk repair needed at this time, or how do we come up with the 50/50 program as well? Because some of those sidewalks, they may fall under village.
Correct. So with our 50/50 program, yes, it's first come, first serve. We try to address the people as they come, they get it added to the list. If someone chooses not to participate, then we move on to the next location. With additional funds, what we end up doing the last couple of years is starting to identify the worst trip hazards, because those are liabilities, and try to eliminate as many trip hazards as we can with the remaining funds in the budget. And that's usually due to severity. We started looking for more trip hazards, so that takes more time. And then by that time, to be honest, we usually ran out of budget for the years. And so then it's more just addressing the sidewalks and project plans as the capital plans. We'll go out and address, review the sidewalks for the condition in the capital plans before they go out to bid, and incorporate those sidewalk locations. I would say the only caveat would be the 50/50 if they're planned as part of a capital project. We don't go replace, we just include them into the actual capital project, as we don't want to put in a new sidewalk and then tear it out a year or so later, sort of thing.
Well, as we know that the village need a lot of sidewalks repair and also they need new sidewalk poured in. Do we have a list somewhere that we can have, at least the board can have access to that list that first come, first serve, and what are those 50/50? And is that the $600,000 which Diane Blair Sherlock, she, brought to our village, did we receive that money, and when we are planning on, is it next year, or how?
To answer the first question, yes, we can forward along the 50/50 program list to the board, so you guys can see the backlog. I have no issues with that. The $600,000 is, I believe, committed to the village. We have not seen how that money come in technically, or the grant program funding that it comes through at this time. I believe that's something we're working with her office with on the timing of that and how that is received, so that we can ensure that we meet the specifications required for that funding.
One more question I have is I know we have a budget for 2025 that we allocated so much money, and that next year we almost have half of that. I'd like to see that a lot more, so we can really catch up with this sidewalk project. It's really, you could see that it's a priority right now. There are a lot of trip hazards, and then we have some residents, they have been asking for the repairs. So please, if forward that list to us so we can kind of see where we're at.
Trustee Kumar?
Is there, as you know, any restrictions on that 600,000, or are you waiting for that?
We're waiting for the exact requirements of the funding. We have not received that yet.
Okay.
Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. There's, I know that we had the link for the map in the packet. My ask is on our website, if we could put, I know it says locations, and then we have 2025 sidewalk program locations. Can we also add the word map on there? Because I think if we add the word map, that would really be helpful. People are looking for a map. If you just have locations, people are like, there's no map on there. I'm like, I'm sure there is. And we'll send the link to them, but that would be helpful if we just have the word map on there.
Okay.
I know it's just a small change, but
That's a good
I
suggestion.
would appreciate
We'll make
that.
that update tomorrow.
Thank you.
Trustee Constados?
Yes, thank you. Quick question. I think that sometimes people also are wondering why it takes so long for sidewalks to get done. Can you just give us an idea of what it costs to have like one section of sidewalk done? Just so people can understand that it's probably not as cheap as they think it is.
Yeah, I would say our bids are typically for replacement. Go off the top of my head, and I'm coming back from being off for a week, but let me.
It's okay.
I want to say it's around $10 a square foot. It's typically, our cost frame is around $10 by the time you get removal, base if it's needed, and then replacement. We do 5 inches, or 5 foot, and usually 5 inches, so that, like driveway approaches, so it's around $10 a square foot is what our recent bids have been. But I can verify that and get that to the board if that answer is incorrect tomorrow.
Yes,
And-
thank
And
you.
I'll correlate that to what it's a 5x5 square.
Mm-hmm.
Correlates in terms of a cost. So that's a little bit easier for people when you say square foot versus 1 square of concrete, about how much that costs the village.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Trustee Kumar?
Along that same, if you could give us the typical household and the number of squares they have in Villa Park and how much it'll cost. Because I think whether to sign up for 50/50 is always about a number, how much the cost is, and of course, it changes. So you're going to give us I think you said each square how much it would cost, correct?
Correct. That will vary.
Yeah, it varies depending on how many
And
squares they have.
I would
yeah.
say some of it varies on, it's usually the sidewalk that's in poor condition is eligible. If you have brand-new, kind of great sidewalk, that's usually not included because it's not improvement. I would say majority of the homes are probably between 3 to 6 squares are usually replaced on average with the 50/50 program. I say that as a caveat. We do have lots that range in 50 foot in size to like 120, so that kind of is varied, but I can get you some of that information, but I believe our engineering technician, Jack Wyman, he keeps track of all that stuff pretty accurate. And in our list, he has exactly kind of laid out what would be eligible for 50/50, what would not be eligible. It's all in that spreadsheet that I can forward along to the board.
I would love to get that, thank you.
It's a standard thing, if you have a 50-foot lot, you have a corner lot, obviously you're gonna have a more, and then if you have a 120-foot lot, obviously you're gonna have a more square footage, so it's all depending on the house. That is the right question to ask, and depending on the house size, lot size wise.
And if Your Honor, if you wouldn't mind, just to provide a little bit more information for our residents, so our 50/50 program is for the sidewalks. The village does pay 100% for damaged sidewalk due to trees that are parkway trees. So if it's our tree on our parkway and it pushes up the sidewalk, the village pays 100% of that portion, and the village pays 100% of the portion for any ADA ramps. Like if you're a corner lot and it needs an ADA ramp, the village will pay 100%, as we don't feel that's the village, or the residents' responsibility, that's the village's responsibility. So those are the few caveats into that 50/50 program, just to be aware. If the private side tree pushes it up, then that's back onto the homeowner to provide participation, because it's the private tree that pushed up the sidewalk.
Okay. Trustee Cordova, Trustee Kozar, do you have any comments or questions?
I do not.
Okay, seeing none, we're going to move forward. If you have any further comments or questions, please direct those to our village manager, Ritas. Moving ahead, we are going to go back to item 7A, the presentation of a plaque to the VFW Post 2801 for their participation in planning of the Independence Day Parade. Members of the VFW Post 2801, if you could do me a favor and stand forward and come to the podium. Thanks. This way, I'm going to speak into the mic right here, so that way we're on camera too. So the Village of Villa Park recognizes VFW Post 2801 for their dedicated time and efforts to ensure the 2025 Independence Day Parade was successful and memorable for our community. VFW Post 2801 exemplifies the spirit of civic pride, commitment, and service. We acknowledge them today not only as a gesture of our appreciation, but also to reinforce the strong and long-standing partnership between the Village of Villa Park and our local veterans. It is with deep gratitude we present this plaque to VFW Post 2801 this day of 25th day of August 2025.
Thank you.
There you go.
You know, during these parades, there's many, many people that are involved, and a lot of the village people are involved in this kind of thing, and we couldn't do it without you. And I just want to thank everybody on this board for your support. It means a lot to us when we know that the village is supporting us, and we really want to thank everybody here. That's it.
Thanks again, guys.
Do you want a picture?
Yes, let's get a picture of Village Board.
Why don't you guys all migrate down to the
Let's do it, because we got
All right, squeeze it on in, everybody. Here we go. All right. Thanks again.
Yeah, look at that. It's not because it's, we don't do that next week, right? Or 2 weeks.
I have a very specific reason today.
I was told that's no longer the case, but.
All right, and again, thank you to VFW Post 2801 for your participation in planning of the Independence Day Parade this year. Moving back on track, we are going to move to item 11A, an ordinance for first reading. An ordinance amending Article 3 of Chapter 19 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding motor vehicle tows by the police department. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance would amend Article 3 of Chapter 19 of the Municipal Code regarding regulations and fees related to the towing of vehicles by the police department. This is a first reading. Staff recommends approval, and we have Chief Todd Kupish in the audience if you have any questions.
Village Board, being that this is a first reading, is there any discussion? Trustee Kozar.
I'd like to make a motion to waive that first reading.
Okay. A motion to waive the first reading by Trustee Kozar. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Trustee Constados. Okay. Do we have any?
Can we just get clarification? Is it to waive and approve, or?
Okay. Trustee Kozar, is the motion to waive and approve?
Waive and approve.
Okay, and the second?
I'll waive and approve.
Okay, the motion is to waive and approve 11A, made by Trustee Kozar, seconded by Trustee Constados. Is there any discussions? Trustee Cordova.
I know we have a memo here, but if we can get just a rundown, high level, maybe a little bit, dig in just a little bit, just to give an understanding for people that are gonna be watching this and don't read the memos.
Is there something specifically you're looking at, trustee?
Well, some of the, I mean, just to give us an idea of the changes, from going from general towing from 175 to 220, is that because the, cost is up or just time, just kind of a general understanding?
Basically, a meeting recently, and one of the topics that was brought up was towing. And I actually, when I submitted this to the manager and council, I had a list of surrounding towns' tow fees, and our tow fees were under par where they should be in relation to the other communities, which is why we updated the amounts here, okay? I can pass these around if you'd like to see them. I can email them to you. I mean, would you like to see it? Okay.
No, I think we have it. I believe those are the surrounding communities?
Yeah, this is from the Illinois State Police, Addison Police Department, Oprah Police Department, Wooddale Police Department, Oprah Terrace, Glen Ellen, Lombard. So basically just a general consensus around the communities of what they charge for different types of tows, which is where the update came in. And even though we've brought up the amounts, we're still lower than some of the other towns. Okay. Regarding does that answer your question on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And if anybody would like to see this, I'd be more than happy to email it to you, whatever you'd like to see. Regarding section 4, which has to do with property in the vehicle, at a certain point, previously, it was in the ordinance that anybody can get property out of their car at any time, which contradicts the state law. Okay, so council and I went through and we tweaked it to basically mirror the state law as far as when somebody could get their property out of the vehicle. Does that make sense on that? Okay. Regarding the fees, or what the fees are for the application process, that was instituted by a manager 2 managers ago, and for whatever reason, he gave that high cost, and the average cost is between 200 and 100, which is why we thought that we should go 150, similar to the fees, to stay kind of in the middle, and maybe that might elicit more tow companies to apply. I mean, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to update our fees to resemble the other communities, and we're also trying to just update things as far as our policies go, and also to mirror the law for property within the vehicles.
Yeah, just
Anything else?
one more.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I read it the first time, when it was from 2,500 for a license, so 2,500 to 150, you're right, it would probably bring in more companies to be able to bid. Is there any kind of limit or any kind of, I know that some municipalities run into aggressive tow truck companies, some that don't have great reputations. Do we have some type of requirements or qualifications, some kind of litmus test of sorts to allow certain companies to do work here or not? I mean, I feel like going from 2,500 was probably like a barrier for some of those companies, but, is 150 going to give us everyone? And then what does the application process look like? And then what kind of requirements or do you have, since you're going to be the one that's going to be building this list, as far as discretion, who gets in, what kind of qualifications, things like that?
Well, just to give you a little background, when Manager Rivas was in my position, we had 3 tow companies. One of the tow companies where we had some issues with, we basically got rid of them. And then we were down to two tow companies. Once we did that, I think 3 months after the fact, the other tow company retired and went out of business. But to answer your question, yes, there is a list of qualifications for the towing. It's not just show up and you're going to tow for us. I mean, number one, there has to be a good response time. Number two, there has to be certain criteria for the facility that they have. There needs to be security. We also need to do background checks on all the tow drivers, because the last thing that I want and you folks want is for someone to call up and say, hey, my car was towed by you folks and somebody stole my stuff out of the car. So it's a pretty tight background that we do on the tow companies. We do backgrounds on each one of their drivers. And it's not something that just any tow company shows up and does, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
And, we also have relationships with, even with the previous tow companies, where we make mistakes. And, sometimes they meet us halfway on mistakes that we make, like a car that maybe should have been towed or should not have been towed. I mean, so, yeah, there's a lot of grace there given too, so. Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Consados.
Yes, thank you. Just to clarify for people watching, this is not, we're not talking about like small towing companies that are out there running around and doing towing. We're talking about a bigger facility that literally has a yard that they put the cars in. So it's not going to be just like every tow company out there that's got one tow truck or two tow trucks that runs their business out of their home. These are legit. I don't want to say legit because those are too, but these are tow companies that have a facility where they literally have capability of keeping the vehicles there, correct?
These are tow companies that are vested by the police department, and really it falls on myself. So I'm not going to accept a tow company that I don't believe is 100% legit and has our best interest as a village and as a police department in mind. And additionally, I think previously our response times for tows were 20 to 30 minutes. Well, I used to be a police officer a long time ago. Well, when you're out on Route 83 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you have an accident, I need a tow truck here yesterday, not 45 minutes from now. So our response time with our current provider is usually 6 to 8 minutes, which even that seems like a long time when you're in a situation like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into selecting a tow company. But yes, I would say that you're not going to get one of the old school Channel 44,
Yes.
call Victory Auto Wreckers,
Yeah.
and have some guys show up. I mean, yeah, these are quality tow companies, and the people that are there are vetted through us.
Thank you.
And not to bring this up, I guess I can bring this up. To rewind the video from last week, the fingerprints is about $100 per applicant for the volunteers. I just want to throw that in there. But yes, our towing people that deal with the towing, they're vetted, yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. How many towing companies do we currently work with then? Is it
Right now we
just
have one.
One? Okay. What is the process if we need to relieve the towing company? I know you said that there were 3.
What is the process?
at one time, so if we can no longer have their services for whatever reason, if they don't follow our qualifications, is there a process?
Yeah, basically, the process is that if I have reason to dismiss them, we can
They're
dismiss
just
them.
dismissed?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is what happened with the other tow company.
Okay. If we were to go to the $200 level, do you think that that would keep people from applying for that permit?
No, I don't think so. I mean, but what I will say is that there has been other tow companies that have applied, but they didn't fit the criteria of what we're looking for,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
sure. Thank you.
Trustee Sabri.
Is that typically a yearly contract, or the contract could be changed anytime, or how do you go about?
It's a yearly licensing.
Okay.
But I mean, if we had another tow company that we wished to bring on board, we could do that anytime. I mean, to be honest with you, at this point, everything is pretty much dialed in with this tow company. I mean, when you're dealing with 3 different companies, you got 3 different types of invoices, 3 different personalities, and it causes some logistical issues. But like I said, we were doing this. It wasn't our choice to go to one tow company. It's just pretty much how it just happened. And we just kind of dialed it in, and, you know, I mean, like for instance, we had the issue across the street with the storage facility of seizure cars. Our new tow company now houses all of our seizures, so now we have that lot vacated for public works and for storage. Well, if you have multiple tow companies, how do you negate that? So, and like our tow company now, they do not charge us for any village vehicles to be towed. So if Public Works vehicle breaks down on North Avenue, there's no charge for that. So, I mean, that's all in the contract, so any company, I guess, would have to do that. But when you start talking about police tows and vehicles that are being seized, as far as like evidence, they have an indoor facility that we can put a car in out of the weather. So when you're dealing with a situation where you're gonna eventually get a search warrant, to have that vehicle in a sealed room, I mean, that's a big deal. That's something that I always wished we had when I was a detective, and now we have that. And that's a big resource as a police officer when you're conducting investigation. Because it's locked down, no one's tinkering with it. I mean, when we had vehicles over here, we'd show up and the windows would all be broken. Well, the village is responsible for all that. Now that they're in his facility, it's cambered, it's locked down, they're checking on them continually. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I commend you for doing your homework and finding out the local and fast response time, so this way we don't have traffic jams and some of the other things.
And that goes back to the safety of the officers and our citizens. I mean, we've all been going to Walmart at 5 PM, and it's a problem. Even St. Charles Road in Ardmore, there's an accident. I mean, we want a tow truck there now, not 10 minutes ago, so.
Thank you.
Sure.
Trustee Kumar?
So, is this an attempt also to get more tow companies, or you want to keep to one? I'm just confused at is it just?
Well, the reason that this all came up is because when I realized how low our tow fees were, which is why when I spoke to the manager, I spoke about this a while ago, I was like, here, we need to update this eventually. So that's why this is coming up. If somebody applies for the towing, that's great. But like I said, logistically, it is easier to do it with one tow company. Am I against having another tow company? No, not at all. I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that having one is logistically possibly better, but, you know, that one can disappear, and having a backup is always a nice plan, right? So, so this might open up some possibilities for that as well.
And to be honest with you, all the local communities around us who also used to have 3, 4 companies, now all have one company as well, based on logistics, as far as like, who towed that car? Well, no, it was this company, no, it was that company, and, okay, which receipt is? I mean, it turns into a nightmare when somebody comes in to get their car. I mean, now we know who to call. We're calling this tow company, what's going on? So, yeah, I mean, I'm not against it, but I don't really know of any tow companies in the area that would fit the criteria of what we have with our present tow company.
The criteria, can we just get what your criteria is sent to us? Not, I don't need it now.
I can send it to you, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it has to do with, with CC cameras, it has to do with alarm systems, I mean, it has to do with security of the lot, it has to do with certain mileage, it has to, certain, like I said, background checks of your drivers and the owners of the company.
It's just
Bonded
good
and
to know the
insured.
criteria.
Yeah, bonded, insured, I mean, there's all sorts of criteria, I mean, I can send that out, that's not a problem.
Okay. thank
It's
you.
right, it's in the ordinance, actually.
Yeah.
Trustee Kozar. Honestly, as a board, do we care that much what the criteria and all that is? I mean, this is kind of nonsense. The police department decided we need a towing company. They did the homework. They need a towing company. We need it. Let's just move on with it. We don't have to have Q&A for 20 minutes wondering what criteria you're using. We trust your judgment. It's a tow company. Easy enough. Can we have a vote? Trustee Cordova.
I mean, I think we know that there's predatory towing companies, and I think we're just doing a little bit extra homework on our side. We get a memo, asking a couple of questions. I think that's fine, right? I mean, that what we're supposed to do.
Do you think our chief would use a predatory towing company?
I didn't say he did. I
So-
said, what did I say? I said there are predatory.
Let's move forward with a vote. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Can you please tell us what we're voting on again? Is this the amendment?
This is a motion to waive and approve.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving along to ordinance for first reading, 11B. An ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 20 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, creating the Green Commission. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Article 20 of Chapter 2 to create the Green Commission. The commission will serve as a strategic advisory board to the village board, focused on long-term solutions for reducing environmental impact, protecting natural assets, and integrating sustainable practices into the village's economic development, infrastructure, and community planning. This is a first reading.
Okay, being that this is a first reading, is there any discussion? Trustee Kozar.
I'd like to make the same motion to waive and approve.
Okay. There is a motion by Trustee Kozar to waive and approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Sabri. Discussion, please. Trustee Kumar.
I have a couple of questions. I'm in favor of the Green Commission because I always was in favor of the environmental concerns, and this is basically a revisit of it looks like, but there are duties that are crossing between different commissions, and I think we should address those at one point so that we clarify to the public. That's all.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes, can someone explain what LEED is, what LEED is in section 2-2005, item I? To recommend updates to building codes or zoning ordinances that support LEED, net zero, or other green construction standards?
Sure, absolutely. LEED is a internationally recognized organization that it is sustainability. What they do, it's about building practices, and so it's from the U.S. Green Building Council. It's basically credentials that show that your construction, your organization has an opportunity to become LEED certified, and there are different levels of LEED certifications that showcase the different standards in which your building or your construction is sustainably sound. That's probably the worst description that I could give of that. But a LEED certification is something that I believe should be sought after with a lot of our infrastructure moving forward. Again, it's just a certification. There are different standards for different projects with platinum, platinum certification being the highest, and I think like bronze being the lowest. But each classification has a different level of sustainable practices.
Thank you.
Trustee Cordova.
So just a little bit more about the LEED. When the rec center was built, there was a cost associated with getting LEED certified, but that didn't mean that we weren't capable of meeting or exceeding what that certification actually had, because they had some requirements to it. So it'll be interesting, maybe the Green Commission, when it's up and running, can give us a recommendation or even just an understanding of, are we actually going after LEED certifications, or are we going after LEED certification requirements? You know what I mean? Because I remember, I think it was somewhere 125 to 400 maybe, because you have to apply for the certification and then you have to get it inspected. But the actual building of it and the sustainability, because I believe LEED is a measurement of sustainability within that building, you could still surpass that and not get that LEED certification, and kind of trims back a little bit on overall cost if that's something that we care about. So,
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of that, there is a cost associated with per project. Per project usually ranges from around $1,200 to $2,300 per project, and the different type of classification of certification. But also to kind of go back on what certification is that individuals can also obtain a LEED certification, and there's a cost associated with that. It's about $250 per application. I'm not making the suggestion that our commission members should become LEED associates or certified, but I think moving forward, to have an eye on our sustainability practices within the village, it would be beneficial to at least hold that as a standard.
Right.
Trustee Constados?
Yes, thank you. I'm all for this commission. I think it's great. I'm not afraid of the amount of duties you have put here for them, because we can always go in if they feel they need to do like a subcommittee or a task force. So I think it's pretty simple and very self-explanatory, so I'm all for it.
Okay. Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. I would also appreciate if you could elaborate. I know that there has been some discussion about some crossover of duties and responsibilities, but I'm also seeing collaboration in the responsibilities as well. Could you speak to the collaborative process of the Green Commission and what that looks like for you, and maybe how you would envision this moving forward, maybe not just with the collaboration that you have listed here, but also with other commissions as well? As we heard, we know that other commissions do partner up and have partnered up in the past.
Absolutely, and I think moving forward, it's important to recognize that collaboration and communication amongst all of our commissions is essential. It's important because there are overlapping duties in some aspects here. When the ECC was dissolved, they did have some specific things that they were in charge of as well. And those are things that I think, after listening to the public comments and the concerns that came out regarding our restructuring of commissions, especially as it relates to the ECC, that it's important that we put some of those back into the ordinance, so that way it's responsibilities that are very important, that aren't going away. And I think that's important for everybody to realize, is that those elements that the ECC had are not going away. They're being carried over into this Green Commission. If you look into the ordinance specifically, without me having to go into that, Section 2, TAC 205, I'm sorry, Section 2, TAC 2005, under responsibilities, if you go to items T through W, those are also some of the shared responsibilities that the commission of the ECC had, that are now going to be shared with the Green Commission. But again, when we talk about collaboration, I think it's important not just to collaborate with other commissions, but also other entities and organizations out there. I mean, there was mention of I believe it was the Lombard Gardening Club. We used to have a gardening club here in Villa Park, and other organizations like that. What I would like to see personally is for that outreach, that community involvement outreach to keep lasting, to keep going on and moving forward. Attorney.
Just to clarify a question that's come up from a few trustees, as mentioned in the memo, it is contemplated that if this ordinance is approved as well as the other ordinance on the agenda for the overarching commission policies, that we would go back and amend each of these commission ordinances that has come up in recent weeks, because there is overlap with various other ordinances. And so that's when the cleanup would happen, to make sure that, for instance, in this draft, in 2005V, it's to administer the Green Champion Award. Well, two commissions can't administer it cleanly, so the idea is that this would supplant what's in the other, and we would just clean that up afterwards.
Thank you for clarifying that, and I apologize that I didn't answer that portion of your question, so. Trustee Cordova.
I'm looking forward to this commission. I think the ECC was important. There's a lot of responsibilities here, so as we kind of move forward and establish those commission handbooks and the procedures and whatnot, coming back and kind of boiling these down to attainable goals, because if we goal on each one of these, it's a pretty big lift, but I know it's going to be a fairly new one with all new people, so just kind of giving a little bit of direction, number one. And then number two, I know I mentioned it when we were talking about Rotary, and we have a horticulture club that is starting in Villa Park, and that project, I think that'll be a really good collaboration, one of the first things that they can kind of start kicking off there as well, because of the expertise in that horticulture club that we can really lean on for a tremendous amount of these. So looking forward to this one.
I think it's important also to state that these are advisory commissions directly to the village board. These ordinances are what establishes their ability to operate and what they should be doing. The board should not have to give them direction. This ordinance gives them that direction. And I think moving forward, it's very important that our commissions act solely as an advisory commission to us as a village board. So when it comes to things like this, they should be making formal recommendations to us to let us know if they want to collaborate with outside organizations, if they want to administer any kind of community events or something of that nature. So I think it's important to say that once this commission is established, that they need to tell us as the village board what they need and what they are recommending. Trustee Kumar.
I can't disagree with that. I kind of do agree with that. They do have to vest themselves and tell us what, but I think the policy book and what we're expecting is something that we're putting out there as a starting point. It's not that they're not going to develop their own set of goals and their own set of ideas, but everybody needs a starting point, and I think that's the starting point that we're talking about at this point, so that they can start up, they can vest themselves, they can give the board great recommendations, and then they can grow, and that's all that's about. It's not that a lack of belief or that they are not going to develop themselves as a personality and have some great ideas to bring to us in the future.
I also think it's important to note, too, that I strongly believe that the commission needs to tell us what their goals are. They are the ones operating this commission, and they're the ones that are going to ultimately be giving the board their formal recommendations. So when we talk about a starting point, I think it's important to let these commissions start, to have these discussions, to talk about what their goals are and what they want to achieve and how they're going to tackle all of the responsibilities that fall under this ordinance. So I think it's important that we let these commissions give us their goals, and we go off of that. Trustee Alfano.
To piggyback off of what you are saying, we saw that in action with the Fund Commission, who came to us and said, this isn't what we do anymore. And they came and said, our ordinance doesn't match what we do. And so they created what they wanted, and they said, this is more of what we are doing. Would you please align what the ordinance says to what we are doing? And we did that as a board at the last board. So I think that when we give the commissions the ability to kind of pick and choose and decide what it is that their goals are, they'll come to us and they'll tell us what it is that they want to do.
Trustee Sabri.
I agree, I'm sorry. I agree with Trustee Alfano. We had another commission, we met about the garden commission, and you can see that how enthusiastic they were and how much information they brought up to discuss that what they like to see in the future. And I thought it was excellent that whatever they discussed is really going to enhance this village very productively, that the commissioners that they were appointed, they bring a whole lot of new ideas to this village, and I think you will be very impressed with their future upcoming. Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Clerk Lauken, could we please have a roll call vote, please?
Could I ask what that motion was?
Motion to waive and approve the ordinance.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constantos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving forward to agenda item 12A, an ordinance for a second reading, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 14 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding appointed boards and commissions. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Article 14 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code to establish policies and procedures for the selection of commissioners and the procedures commissioners would follow. A first reading was held on August 11, 2025. The revised draft presented here incorporates comments received from village board members.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Sabri, second. Okay, discussion? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, I actually have a motion to make right out of the bat. I would like to move to accept the ordinance amending Article 14 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding appointed boards and commissions with the following changes. 2-1403B, I would like to strike out village president, rotate board liaisons annually. 2-1404A, strike out term limits on junior commissioners. 2-1404E, strike out that section in entirety. 2-1405B, strike out, quote, "The village is an equal opportunity appointing authority," end quote. 2-1405E, strike out, quote, "August 1st," end quote, leaving appointments to expire the 31st of May. 2-1405F, strike out, quote, "August 1st," end quote, leaving May 1st. 2-1410C, strike out section in its entirety. 2-1411, add, quote, "Shall consist of 1 current commission member and 3 members," continuing that sentence. 2-1412, add, quote, "Shall issue for the purpose of identification at meetings and events to each duly appointed board member and/or municipal ordinance a lanyard and an identification card." Then 2-1413, strike out section in its entirety. For ease, I have printed all of that up because I know that is a lot, but that is my motion.
Can I see one of those, please? Thanks. Pass that down.
you like?
Can I have one of those?
Yeah, that's
I got the audio. She's got one.
Okay. Okay, so I have a written motion before me, motion by trustee Alfano. And just to reiterate, 2-1403B, strike out village president, rotate board liaisons annually. 2-1404A, strike out term limits on junior commissioners. 2-1404E, strike out section entirely. 2-1405B, strike out the village as an equal opportunity appointing authority. 2-1405E, strike out August 1st, leaving the appointments to expire May 31st of May. 2-1405F, strike out August 1st, leaving May 1st. 2-1410C, strike out section entirely. 2-1411, add shall consist of one current commission member and 3 members. 2-1412, add shall issue for the purpose of identification and meetings and events to each duly appointed board member or municipal ordinance, a lanyard and an identification card, and then 2-1413, strike out section entirely. Do I have a second for this motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay. Seconded by trustee Constados. Okay, discussion, trustee Alfano.
Yes, thank you. So, for interest of time, because I know that we have already spent a significant amount of time on commissions, and we've already had our new commissions meet. I wanted to bring this motion in this capacity so that we could have a brief discussion, knowing that this is a fluid document. We could come back and look at this at any moment, have that discussion, but we have spent an incredibly long time on these, and we have other business that we do need to attend to, and we really just need to get the ball rolling on this.
Trustee Kumar?
I'm not against finishing this off and having things go, but I have some additions to this. The requirement that all junior members shall be accompanied by at least one parent, I want to strike that out. That's a ridiculous recommendation for 13 to 17-year-olds who drive themselves, are vested in themselves. If safety is a concern, I put out on Facebook, I asked members of the public what could be done. The Boy Scouts just make sure that more than 3 members are there. Given that we have to have a quorum to meet, we can just require that a quorum meets so that teenagers can come. I do not want to leave out teenagers out of our commissions, so I'm requesting that D be changed to just state that if there is a quorum, the junior commissioners can meet. There's no reason for a parent to be around with a teenager at all of the meetings. So that's one thing I would like to add. I am also one minimal change. Other than that, I do not know what this and the consent of the simple majority of the village board in B. I want to strike out that terminology, simple majority. That's it.
Trustee Constados?
We already have a motion on the table and a second, so I don't know how.
Well, we're in discussion right now.
we would
Yes.
change that.
So the motion on the table is what trustee Alfano?
Correct.
Read to us, seconded by you, and we are discussing that motion.
Right, I get that, but now there's discussion going on
Attorney-
about further changes, so.
If I may just,
Please.
as a point of order, with the motion on the table, if there's a vote on trustee Alfano's motion, there will still be time for discussion before a vote Well, actually, no, I apologize. Trustee Alfano's motion encompasses it all together to accept the ordinance as amended. So if anyone wants to make additional changes, they could make a motion to amend the motion by Trustee Alfano.
Trustee Cordova.
So this does kind of chill the conversation, because I know that, I don't know who sent in suggestions on some of these ordinances. I sent a pretty long email. Some of it was incorporated, which I'm happy about. One of the things that I'd like to amend is more for all the screening workflow. So, you know, replace all applications will be reviewed by the village president and the trustee serving as liaison. With all applications are submitted to the village clerk and distributed to the full village board within 2 business days. An appointments committee of 3 trustees chosen by the board reviews and recommends candidates to the full board in an open meeting. Meaning, an an application comes in, we should all know that an application comes in and that person was reached out to and said, yes, you are going to be part of this review process, or no. And I will tell you why I wrote this was because I had a couple people reach out to me and said, hey, have you heard that I put in an application? I said, I don't get applications at all. I don't know. And the next piece of conversation is I haven't heard anything back from anyone. So that's what I'm just trying to, you know, some of these fine, and if this is a fluid document, which it typically, we like to say it is, but it never really comes back, those are one of the things I'd like to add in is a little bit of the transparency piece there, where if you're sending in an application to be part of or to be considered for a commission, you should know that somebody's reading it, you should know that other people are reading it, and there's a process in place to ensure that your application is actually looked at. Other than that, I mean, I wrote a lot of things that aren't going to be on here, and with Trustee Alfano making that this ordinance change, then that kind of, again, chills a lot of the conversation. Yes, I agree, we've had a whole lot of back and forth on this, and I do want this to kind of be done so we can kind of move forward. But the biggest, I mean, just jumping and making a motion to just do this is, you know, you can do it, and that's what we're doing. But some of the things that are not on here that are not going to be part of this conversation without going another 2 hours is, I feel that's just kind of chilling our amount of conversation we could have on this without being looked at as, you know, dragging this on or whatever. I have things that I wanted to put on here that are not on, that didn't make it to here, that didn't make it to the final ordinance or even considered for that, and without any kind of, hey, this is why, hey, whatever. I do want to say thank you to Attorney Morton for responding to me about the Open Meetings Act, if we're going to be breaking any rules, and I appreciate that. But you know, those are the things, and I'm not even sure how to get that piece in here without making a motion, and then knowing how we're probably going to vote, some of these things aren't even going to get considered. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, one thing I'd like to comment on that is that at our last meeting, we identified that all trustees should submit in writing to our village attorney the changes that they wanted to see. And it was also agreed upon that the village attorney would take the majority of what those concerns were. And if there wasn't a majority, that would not be included into that discussion point. That is what we had discussed there. Trustee Kumar.
That being said, at this point, to move on, I would like to make a motion to amend a few things. One, I would like a clearer process and applications to be submitted as, and I'm amending here what Trustee Alfano said to include that clearer process of application added to this. I would like to remove D altogether in section 2.14.04, no need for D. And I would like to amend add to trustee Alfano's amendment the consent of the village board and strike out simple majority. This concentration on simple majority is redundant. Thank you.
Okay, so if I may, just for clarity, just to make sure I understand, trustee Kumar, what your first point, what is it that you're looking to amend with regard to applications?
The applications are sent to the board at large.
Is there a section that you wanted that inserted?
Let me see. In the section with the application process.
That section the majority wanted to have removed, so there isn't a paragraph on the application process.
Okay, then we should have an application process, and we add a section that has an application process. We've always had an application process. There should be an application process. It shouldn't be just friends of our friends decide. We go to the president and choose whether we get on a board or not.
To clarify, there is a statement that says that a public notice will be made on the village's website inviting applications. There just isn't a procedure beyond that for how applications will be handled, because it's the village president's discretion to look over those applications.
Okay, and I would like to have the village president definitely look over those applications. He has the right to look over those applications. But I also would like to receive those applications, because in past practice, applications have disappeared even before this village president. And they may continue to disappear even after this president. So we need to clarify it and keep sure that that process is clean.
If I may then, in section 2-1405, F,
Right.
we would add, to go along with your motion, I believe, language at the end of it that says all applications received will be forwarded to the village board, if I may take from trustee Cordova, within 2 days of receipt.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I've been doing already with filling these commissions, and by the way, being that we have approved the vacancies that were on these commissions now, all of our commission seats are filled. And one of the things that I've been doing as well is that I have been sending those applications to the board liaison as well as the chair of those commissions for their reference. That's something I plan to continue doing moving forward, especially when it comes to application processes. But also, our code has always stated, and I don't know why it needs to change now, but the village president makes the appointments to the commissions, not by just himself, but with the consent of the Board of Trustees. So there's always an opportunity, even in our code, and always has been, for the Board of Trustees to partake in this. Now, I cannot speak for previous administrations before me or previous village presidents about where or how applications may have disappeared or what have you. I will say that part of the reason for restructuring and doing a lot of this is because of the fact that past administrations failed to keep organized records. But I will assure you that since I have been president, anybody that has applied to these commissions, those applications are on hand. They are FOIA-able. And I have shared them with anybody who is asked to, with the consent and advice of the village board. So we have a motion on the table by trustee Kumar to amend trustee Alfano's motion to have a 2.1405F, a clearer process of the applications sent to the board, to remove 2.1404D. And I'm sorry, did anybody else write that down specifically? I don't know what that.
The 21404D?
I'm just trying to figure out the motion made by trustee
The other-
Kumar, so we could get a second possibly.
The other portion, correct me if I'm wrong, trustee, but the other portion was in 2-1405B, where there's language consent of a simple majority.
Yeah.
She just wants that to be consent of the village board.
That's it.
Okay, so is there a second for this motion?
Just a clarification, well, go ahead.
Okay, no, point of clarification. Go ahead, trustee Cordova.
Are we adding also the, all applicants are submitted to the village clerk and distributed to the village, to the full village board within 2 business days? Did you get that?
I have to defer to trustee Kumar.
Yes, I would like to add that as well. That is fine.
Okay, so there is a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Cordova seconds. Okay, so we have a motion by trustee Kumar, seconded by trustee Cordova to amend trustee Alfano's motion. Roll call vote, please.
Point of clarification or
Oh,
point of order.
okay, point of
Can we
clarification.
please have that read again?
I'll try my best. Or go ahead.
It's up to you.
Go ahead. You probably got it better than I do.
So the motion on the table to amend the other motion on the table would remove section 1404D, which states all junior members shall be accompanied by at least one parent or legal guardian who shall remain present throughout the commission meeting or event. It would remove from 2-1405B of a simple majority instead of, so it will just read consent of the village board. That's for approval of appointments. And then it would add to 1405F at the end of that paragraph that all applications will be submitted to the village clerk and distributed to the village board within 2 days of receipt.
Okay.
I also have another point of
Point of
order.
clarification, trustee
Yes.
Alfano.
May I make an amendment to that amendment?
Good Lord.
Point of clarity, whose
Okay,
motion goes first?
so,
I'm-
just let's
And
order
I
here.
I had discussion I still
Okay.
wanted to weed in, but now we're 3 motions in, so forget it.
Trustee Alfano, you have a point of order.
Yes.
What is your question, or what is your amendment?
I would like to remove village board from received the application. I don't need the application. I would like the clerk to have the application, the president and the clerk. I don't need to have all of that information. I'm not sure anybody is going to take a look at that. I can always ask the clerk, did we get that information? Was that received? And that's all that I really need. I don't think we all need that, so I don't know why we are going to forward that to all of us. I think it just needs to go to the clerk.
Okay, to the best of my knowledge, I believe that the clerk is receiving all of these applications as
So
well.
that's already happening.
I believe so. That is
Okay,
correct.
so
Might change.
can we remove that section then?
Remove, so is that part of your original motion?
It's not in there, so yes.
Okay, so you're amending, you're,
If I may,
please, please.
Getting in the weeds here, but I do
There are-
have the book if we need it.
There are 3 options here. You can make a motion to amend the motion to amend. You could do that. You could let the vote go through and then add to your own motion if you wanted to include the other parts. If hypothetically this were to not go through, then you add the parts you wanted to keep. There was a third option, and I apologize, it's escaped me now.
Whichever one is easier.
Okay, what I would like to see here is, it's getting a little confusing and in the weeds. What I would request or ask of you is, option 2 of what Attorney Morton said, is that let's go through and take a roll call vote on the trustee Kumar's amendment and the seconded by Cordova. Moving forward after that is when you could go ahead and make a motion if you'd like to amend your original motion. So, is there any more point of order?
Nope.
Okay, so this is a roll call vote on trustee Kumar's motion, seconded by trustee Cordova. A roll call vote, please.
Just have a point of order.
Point of order, trustee Kumar.
On this. The reason that I want this particular thing is I
Trustee
think-
Kumar, this is a point of order. We're not discussing reasons why or why not we want something on here.
Okay, so the point of order here is that I want to keep that, that need, I do need to see the applications. Maybe you do not, trustee Alfano, but I do need to see it.
Okay, so what's the point of order?
Yeah.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Can you come back to me?
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
No.
Trustee Kozar.
No.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
No.
Trustee Alfano.
No.
Okay, that motion does not pass. So now we are going back to the original motion written by trustee Alfano. Do we have discussion on that? Trustee Alfano, I believe you were looking at making an amendment to your original motion.
No, I just was wondering why we would
Okay,
need to have that amendment because we already have that information.
okay, understood. Okay, is there any further discussion on trustee Alfano's?
Although I would be, sorry,
Trustee Alfano, go ahead, you have the floor.
I would entertain striking out the parents needing to be there. I would entertain that. Is that 1404D?
1404D,
Yes.
are you creating the motion?
I will create that motion.
Trustee, you can just amend your original motion
My
if
original
trustee
motion.
Constatos agrees.
The all junior members shall be accompanied by at least one parent.
That's your amendment?
Yep, so
Okay.
I will strike that out, 1404D.
Okay. Trustee Constatos, do you agree with?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Trustee Cordova?
Just the application process that just got struck down, that's just gonna kind of give us a little bit more non-clarity into what's happening and who's sending them in, is that correct? So a person sends it in, we just never hear if a person sent it in, we just have to wait for them to reach out to us and say, did you get this? And then it's a process for us to go to the village clerk and ask if that person did do it, or we just forget about, there's people that are gonna send in applications, and if they come in, they come in.
So I'll reiterate what I said earlier. What we are currently doing is that when the applications come in from online, it's sent to myself, the village president, and the village clerk. If there is a trustee that wants to know if applications have been received or reviewed, you can simply reach out to one of us, like others have done, or, and again, they are all FOIable as well. So that's,
So is there a process in place for just a common courtesy to say, hey, we received, even if it's a canned response, to say, hey, your application has been received?
yes.
If you're gonna move forward, you will hear from us?
Yes, and that's already been in place.
That has been?
It is in
So-
place.
Okay.
So every
so
application,
People that are saying that that didn't happen, we'll just say they're lying, or?
I'm not going to say that they're lying, but what I will tell you, what I have done in my administration so far with the people that have applied, is that even recently as earlier today, the people that have applied for the empty vacancies on these commissions, I've replied by email, which you can FOIA if you want, acknowledging that the vacancies have been filled and they had not been selected, and to pay attention to the village website and/or social media for vacancies that apply.
And then is there any kind of time period that you've set for this administration to get back to them? Or is it just kind of in perpetuity, like whenever?
So what I would like to do, and I don't know, again, I cannot tell you how previous administrations have done this, is that I think it's courteous to give a reply back either way, if somebody is appointed or not appointed. And I have done both. As far as a time commitment, I work, I have kids, I've got other responsibilities, but I try my hardest to make sure that I communicate with all of those that I can. Now, whether that be 48 hours or 1 week, it's going to happen one way or the other, which I've already done. Trustee Kozar.
I'd like to call the question. I think we've had plenty of discussion on this.
Okay. There's a call to question. Do I have to second that?
Call to question needs to be seconded by someone, then there's no. Then there's no discussion. You vote on the called question, and then you vote on the underlying motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a call to question by trustee Kozar, seconded by trustee Constados. Do I have to do discussion?
Roll call.
Okay, no discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
No.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, so now we will do a roll call vote for the amended motion. Right.
That was the call to question.
Oh, I see.
Am I doing that right? Yep. Okay.
Then I don't understand.
Now is we're going to do a roll call vote for trustee Alfano's amended motion.
You voted no because you don't want to vote.
So, roll call vote, please.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, so hold on.
I'm sorry, I just need a point of clarity from trustee Alfano. On your list of changes, 2-1411, I assume when we're redrafting this, anything in the paragraph that would conflict with your change there should also be changed, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
No.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. That motion passes. Moving along to 13A, ordinances, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, granting a variation from the maximum fence height requirement of section 9.2.2, table 9-1 of the zoning ordinance for the property location at 5 West Madison Avenue, Villa Park, Illinois. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The ordinance would approve petition PZ-25-11, a request for a variation to allow a 5-foot tall open-style fence in the front yard instead of a 4-foot tall open-style fence. The petitioner is seeking approval of a variation from 9.2.2 allowed fence heights and locations of the zoning ordinance. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on August 14, 2025, where they recommend approval of the request by a vote of 6-0.
Okay, do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, seconds. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance passes. 13B, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, granting variations from section 4.4.3 and 6.10.3 of the zoning ordinance of the property located at 10 South Charles Avenue, Villa Park, Illinois. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance would approve petition PZ-25-15, a request for variations from section 4.4.3, general building to permit a rear yard setback, of 5 feet instead of 40 feet from section 4.4.3, general building to permit a garage entrance not on the rear facade, and section 6.10.3, non-residential accessory structures to permit a rear and interior side yard setback of 5 feet instead of 10 feet of the zoning ordinance. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on August 14, 2025, where they recommended approval of the request by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados. Do I have discussion? Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I do have some discussion. I have some questions just about the zoning of the property in particular. When reading of this, the packet, it looks like the zoning is it's not residential, but did it used to be residential? Or was it always mixed use?
Yes, so the zoning on that property has been MXT, but the property has been used as a single dwelling residence.
Okay, was it currently rebuilt or remodeled?
It was remodeled. The home did have work done to it. Prior to that work, it was still a single dwelling residence. It was included within that MXT zoning district as in the prior comp plan, a potential site that could be combined with a property adjacent to make a larger redevelopment happen. Obviously, that home is going to be there for hopefully quite some time with the work that was put into it. The Planning and Zoning Commission did review 2 planning and zoning cases for this residence. The first was for rezoning of the property to RS 7.5 to fit more with a single dwelling residence. However, during that discussion, the new comp plan recommended that it stay mixed use district, so MXT. The commission preferred that the proposed detached garage that the homeowner wanted to build receive variations and keep that mixed use zoning district rather than to rezone to RS 7.5.
Okay, so I'm hearing 2 different things here, because if it is newer construction and it is going to be here for a while, I'm wondering if maybe we need to revisit the zoning issue itself and kind of rethink that, just because of this, like, it's going to be single family probably for a while, right? If it's newer construction?
It can be. So the home was remodeled. It's not a new home.
Okay.
You can have single dwelling residences within a mixed use zoning district. The Planning and Zoning Commission chose to keep the zoning MXT, so that way in the future, the property has more options versus if you changed the zoning to RS 7.5, it only allows for residential. If on down the road, they would be able to potentially use it for a business rather than just residential.
Okay, thank you for that clarity.
Trustee Kumar.
This is also on St. Charles in our TIF district. So I was at that meeting, and there was considerable discussion on this and considerable reason that the staff brought forth to keep it MXT.
I'd just like to thank staff for having those videos on YouTube, too. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. Moving along to 14A resolutions, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, to amend the funding agreement for the Tri-Trail Connector Project. Manager Rivas, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment supplements the original joint funding agreement for the construction work with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation for the construction of the Tri-Trail Connector Project to reallocate federal dollars from construction to Phase 3 engineering. The village staff recommends approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement.
Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Cordova, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution passes. Moving along to 14B, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, to approve the Phase 3 engineering agreement, the supplement with Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated of Itasca, Illinois, in the amount of $74,359. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment supplements the original agreement with Civil Tech for the Phase 3 engineering for the Tri-Trail Connector to account for the additional engineering hours required due to the contractor performing at a slower than anticipated production rate due to utility delays as well as adjacent developer work. All justifications can be found outlined in Civil Tech's proposal attached. The village staff agreed that Civil Tech Engineering Incorporated request is justified and recommends approval of supplement number 1 to the agreement for an additional $38,658.
Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alfano, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Constados, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving along to 15A, unfinished business, Village Board of Trustees Rule of Order and Procedure. Any discussion? Trustee Kozar.
Recently, we've kind of started where somebody can email the clerk and the clerk reads the email into the record. I don't think that's necessary. I think if somebody has a comment and they're unavailable or unwilling to come to a meeting, then they can send that comment to all the trustees. Our emails are out there. I don't think we need to have certain members of the community showing off or writing emails and having our clerk read them. It just seems unnecessary to me. I thought we had a policy of that previous, although under the last, under Cazone, things were kind of haphazard and wasn't always followed. But I think that can, if I need to make a motion for it, I can do so. I would ask our village attorney, would you like a motion for that?
So I was looking at this earlier, the rules of procedure on what's in there currently for public comment. And there is, and in your ordinances as well. There is nothing in either section, in the ordinance or the trustee policies as written and in your packets, that allows email comments to be read into the record.
Right.
So it's a point of practice rather than something that actually needs to be formally changed as written now to make a public comment, just as the Open Meetings Act requires, you have to be present and give your comments. I would venture a guess, and I don't know this for sure, but this is often what happened during COVID, where people had to have access to giving public comments in some way, and since they weren't allowed to be in the room, they would email them in. I suspect that this practice might have just carried over from that. Obviously, there are no restrictions anymore on people being able to come to the meetings, so I would agree with your suggestion that it not be allowed. And just as a further reason for that, in addition to what you brought up, I have concerns with members of this board or the clerk saying someone else's words in their own voice, where it could be misconstrued as that trustee or that elected officials or the village manager, whoever's reading it, where it would be construed as their opinion. I don't believe that would be sound practice.
Thank you, I agree. So it doesn't sound like I need to make a motion for it, it would just be a practice. But that's kind of what our rules of order and procedure would be. So to clarify that, specifically, how do I put that in there?
You would make a motion to amend the rules of procedure
Okay.
to include that, and, we can come back with language on that next time.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion to amend our rules of order and procedure to stop the practice of emailing trustees or the clerk to have things read into the record.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend the Village Board of Trustees Rules of Order and Procedure, seconded by Trustee Constados. Okay, is there discussion? Trustee Cordova?
So I'm okay with that as well, because I feel like anyone could send a blistering email, and then the village clerk has to read it. I get that, but, so if somebody wants me to read an email, a short email, or a comment, and they send it to me, we've talked about this before, would I use my trustee report? Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that, and I would ask if you're gonna send in an email to someone, for someone to read, and I can do this in my report, but send it to the whole board and say, Trustee Cordova is going to read this, just so it's not a surprise, I don't know, I go back and forth only because I know people are busy. We had less than a couple handfuls of people here today, maybe, I don't know, 8 people. it's hard to get to a Monday night meeting, and some of these go till 2 o'clock in the morning. So, I don't know. I get it. I understand why, and I understand everything, you know, you're thinking behind it, but I do want to give people an opportunity to send something in, make their point made, and have a voice, as opposed to having to come in, you know, do the whole thing. So, yeah.
Trustee Costados?
With what trustee Cordova is saying, then I guess I would have to ask councils, because you said you didn't recommend reading somebody else's words. Even if we're doing it in our trustee report, we're still reading somebody else's words. So should we allow that, or should it be more of just kind of like a sum up of what the email consists of? But I do agree that if it is allowed, that the email should be shot to all of the trustees as a courtesy, so we know what's coming up. But if you could.
My opinion is that there is a difference between public comment and comments that are actually made at that section of the agenda versus something that a trustee has decided on their own that they feel it's important, and they have the permission of the person to read it. Some elected officials might feel beholden to, if someone says, they email it to them and say, I want this read as part of public comment, they might feel their hands are tied and they have to do it, even if they don't agree with the subject. If it's during board comments, there's more of an assumption that the trustee reading it agrees with the content, and that's why they're including it. So that's at least how I would interpret that, if you're doing it during your board comment section, as opposed to public comment, where it's not actually you voicing your opinion, you're just a messenger for someone else.
Another question, but it still then goes into the record because it's during the trustees, so it's, okay. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of where it's going in the record, I guess, at what point of time is the difference?
Yes, and I mean, it goes deeper into what people have a right to have heard and what they don't, right? I mean, anyone can come up and say anything they want.
Sure.
During public comment. It can be censored more during a trustee's report. If a trustee wants to amend the language, leave out a sentence, or they're able to do that, where if they were reading it as part of the record for public comment, they would need to do it verbatim.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Kumar?
No, I was just drinking water.
Yeah, all right. Trustee Alfano?
I often wonder if it's just better to kind of sum up what people say, just because I feel like if they're not here to speak on their own accord, I'll get something from them, but then I'll just say, I hear from residents, or this is what I'm hearing from residents, because I don't often want to put words in their mouth. And I'm going to put this out there, but when I went to IML last year and they talked about AI and what people can do with AI, that kind of solidified I'm not sure I want to put anybody else's words in my mouth. So I feel like that's something for us just personally to consider as well. That was my thought.
One other thought to add is the point of public comment is to lobby your elected officials, to let your elected officials know what you think. So if someone isn't able to make a meeting, and this trustee Cordova, this kind of goes to what you were saying, if they just email it to everyone, or just email it to the clerk and ask the clerk, please distribute this to the board, they've had the same effect as they would have if they're in person. Yes, the public at large won't hear it, but the people making the decisions will have, which is the goal of public comment.
Trustee Kumar?
The problem I have with that is the public at large won't hear it. We're recording these meetings. We want to be as transparent as possible. The public at large won't hear what someone is saying unless one of us chooses to say that. Seems to be less transparent to me. But if you say there is a liability towards that, I understand, and I will accept it at this point.
Trustee Cordova.
And this may just be a clarification for me, how would a resident be able to put something in record? Does it have to be read out, or can it just be amended to the minutes for the next month as part of, like,
I mean, frankly, that's what we're talking about here with board policies. That's up to you how you would want to handle that. I mean, even what you're discussing about what you say during your section, there could be something in your board policies about that. There are different communities handle it in different ways. Some communities, they append to their minutes comments that are received by the public.
yeah.
So if that's something that you wanted to do, you could do that, and then those comments are part of the record. But they are always part of the record anyway, because once they're received by the clerk, they're now a public document and are FOIable.
Trustee Alfano.
I think then one of the narratives that we need to push is that residents need to contact the clerk, and then the clerk can push it out to us, because I can't tell you the number of times that we have had in public comment, people say, I've emailed all of the board, and I will in real time look and be like, I don't have anything from this person. And I'll ask and like, do you? No, we don't have anything. Like, I'm not sure, I'm not seeing anything. And we can't have that banter back and forth during public comment. And I want to be like, well, could you resend that? Because I don't have it. So maybe the answer to that is it does have to go to the clerk, because then it is distributed accordingly. That doesn't mean don't contact your trustees, but it does mean if you want it to be public record, it has to go to the clerk, and then we'll get to all of us.
Trustee Constados.
I would like to agree with that comment that Trustee Alfano said, based on the fact of also being transparent to the rest of the trustees, you know. So I think that it should go to the clerk, and it should be sent to all of the board members.
Trustee Kumar.
And I do like the idea of appending it if it is sent to all the board members, so that it is sent to all the public as well. So if that's the case, append it in the future to the minutes, so it's there.
Trustee Alfano.
Sorry. So what I will do if I get something and I notice it's not sent to anybody else is I will, sometimes, depending on what the subject is, I will say, do I have your permission to share this with the rest of the board? Sometimes people will say no. Sometimes I'll say, can I send it to the clerk so that they can share it with the rest of the board? Sometimes they will say no. So I don't know how to handle that. I mean, I know that it is public record because it's on our email server, but they just don't, for some reason, want to share it. I want to share it. I want to have that discussion with people, but I also have to honor that, right?
Okay, Trustee Kumar.
I don't think it's, I agree with you, Trustee Alfano. It's not about the people that say no. It's about the people who say yes. So the people who say yes, let's append it. About the people who say no, well, we understand. They have that privacy issue. So that's what I would say.
All right, we have a motion and a second. A motion by Trustee Kozar, seconded by Trustee Costados. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
sorry, we started talking about a lot of stuff, but what was it?
There's a motion to amend by Trustee Kozar.
What was the amendment?
If I may?
Yeah, please do.
That public comments shall not be read into the record at meetings.
Okay. I'll say yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Alfano?
I would like to make a motion to put in our policy that we should have the clerk manage anything that comes in from public, any emails, and really use the clerk as that tool for getting that communication to us.
Okay.
That was the kind of the conversation where that led.
So just for clarification, is that we had a motion to amend, and that was approved.
Now we are at the motion to
or we haven't had a motion to approve the policy, like, we can do that.
Okay. So trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Please restate that one more time.
So let me see if I can restate that. Public emails to be read into public comment should go directly to the clerk and then distributed to the board.
Okay. So there's a motion for public comments go directly to the clerk
That way we have them.
and then to the board. Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Sabri. Okay. Discussion. Trustee Kumar.
So that means that is that meaning it will go to the board at large after, I'm just asking for an interpretation, that anything sent that way to the clerk will go to the board at large and be appended, is what you're stating.
I think that that would be the appropriate thing so that we know it's there.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a motion and a second by, was there a second?
Yeah.
Oh, trustee Sabri. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constantos?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward to unfinished business 15B, Village Board Social Media Policy. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I'd like to table this to the September 8th meeting because we did receive the highlighted version last night. I have not had time to review that, and I would just like that extra time to review. I don't know how everybody else's evening was, but mine was not conducive to having that time to look at that thoroughly.
Okay, so I have a motion to table the Village Board Social Media Policy to the September 8th Village Board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Kozar. And discussion. Trustee Cordova.
I think as you go through the highlighted section, I believe that just the highlighted section should be our social media policy where we don't infringe on anyone's privacy protection laws or any kind of, any kind of language that is defamatory or, content against any person. So as you go through, again, we're kind of teeter-tottering on some First Amendment rights here on our side.
Trustee Cordova, I don't mean to interrupt, I apologize, but do we have discussion on the motion to postpone?
Yeah, and then I said, as we're postponing, as you have a chance to go through, these are the things that I'd like you to look at.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
look at it.
So these are the things, though, too, that between now and our September 8th meeting, that trustee Cordova is going to ask that you take a look at.
Yeah, so, yes, again, the highlighted section is what's legally required, everything else is suggestions. And again, this could chill or suppress public criticism of government decisions or personnel. So I can send my email out back to village attorney of my original concerns of trampling on First Amendment rights, and then he can get that out to everyone, just so you take a look. That's it, that's all I have.
Is there any other discussion on the motion to table? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constantos?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay, that will be tabled to our September 8th meeting for discussion. Moving forward, new business. Trustee Alfano?
Yes, I have a couple of things. I'm wondering if we can, at some point, get an update on the crossing lights at the Prairie Path and Villa. I know they've been out. I don't know when we have an update as to when they're going to be fixed. School's back in session. Kids are using that to get to and from school. We still have people using the Prairie Path. I think that it's important for us to know when those are going to be fixed and when they'll be in working order. And also, we did talk about the Tri-Trail this evening. We have, since the Tri-Trail opened on Wildwood, there's graffiti from some organization that pulled I'm guessing they pulled a permit, where it says mile marker on it. I can't tell you the number of times people will stop me and like, hey, this is brand new. This graffiti's still here. Is there a way that we can get this new trail to look new? Because it was almost immediately that after it opened, that this was there and it's never really been cleaned. So I'm just wondering if those two business items can be addressed. Thank you.
Trustee Kumar.
For new business, I'd like to get an update on what's going on with the e-scooter situation. I do see that the Facebook post has gone out, and I did reach out to say thank you for that. I also need an update on what's being done at the schools, because there was discussion about getting that information out to the schools, and I think our e-bike is coming soon. So just an update on all of that. As our commissions are opening also, now that some of them are opening, I would like to address the issue with behind wildfire at one point with the commission, and make sure that the commission puts it on their new business, as it is important that the commissions do stuff, but also address the concerns of the current residents. They need to do that still. So that's it.
Trustee Constados?
Yeah, I'll make it brief. I just wanted to discuss the idea that I had sent to you and Manager Rivas about putting e-scooter awareness signs up at like the railroad crossings, all of the parks, all of the schools, and the prairie path, along the prairie path where the traffic is heavy. And the idea of posting basically what our law is and what the fines are, just to put some awareness out there and take a little bit off of the back of our police department. So I didn't know, I know you guys you received the email. I didn't know if it was a possibility or something maybe that we might be able to put on the agenda at some point, if you think it's a good idea or not. That's it.
Any other new business? One thing that I would like to say is that the board did approve the Green Commission this evening. One of my recommendations that I'm going to ask of the village staff is that we put a solicitation out on social media and update the website that reflects the creation of the Green Commission, and that we will have a solicitation for residents to fill those vacancies. After listening to resident concerns from previous meetings regarding the restructuring of our commissions, I think it's important that what we do is we allow our residents to understand what's available and what's vacant. And in the process, what I will do as village president is, after those solicitations are made, both on our website and our social media, I will wait for applicants to submit their applications. Once I have reviewed all of the applications, I will then go ahead and make my recommendations for those appointments, and bring that back to the board with their consent and advice at a board meeting when that time arises. So that is what we can expect coming up here soon with the new Green Commission. All right, moving forward, Village Commission reports, we don't have any. Moving to the Village Clerk's report.
No comment.
Okay, no comments there. Village Trustee reports, starting on my right, Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. I didn't prepare anything. I just wanted to say that it's been a rather cool day today. The weather got a little cooler finally, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Two quick things for me. Last Friday, I attended and was part of the Silver and Blue Community Night at Willowbrook. That was just an incredible showing of the community through and through. Police were there. I believe some fire guys were there. There's like 400 youth children in the programs, along with all of the fall and just the sports at Willowbrook. Just a really, really great program. well-timed, it was right on time, so kudos there. And then this Thursday is the conclusion of the 2025 Villa Park Thursday Summer Concerts. Those have been very well attended. Some were really hot, some were just perfect nights, and this Thursday, hopefully we have some good weather, but I'll be there for as long as I can be. But that another beacon of community there with as many people as that show up. So that's it. That's all I have.
Trustee Kozar.
No report.
Okay, on my left, Trustee Kumar.
I'd like to thank Representative Sean Caston for coming out to the fire department to have a discussion about possibilities for our fire department. It was a good conversation we had, and I would like to thank our Chief Stapleton for the excellent pitch he did for our Village of Villa Park and our fire department and what our needs are and what the future needs are. That's the kind of communication that helps bring things to Villa Park. I'd also like to thank Mickey's for coming out. They've been in town for years. Actually, they've been in town longer than I have, and it's nice to see that establishment has been around so long, and it's sad to see them go. So I would like to say a very warm farewell to Dave and Annette. But I hope you'll stick around town and stay involved and stay communicating. And that's it.
Trustee Sabri.
Yeah, I'd like to add that for Mickey, they were the member of this community for a long time. Matter of fact, they were right across the street from my office I used to see them open, it's been 25 years, so we're going to miss you. Please stay around, and you're still part of Villa Park. The next topic is that we did receive communication from the MC Square. Looks like we have 3 different letters that went out. One is like a uniform disclosure statement, and the second one was 4 pages. That was the customer electric supply agreement. The third, it showed to something, basically I received all 3 of them. It's just like before, I think we need to be more clear, and the message need to be put on our village website that if you do not return a particular, it says notice of electric aggregation program option, this is not a bill. But if you don't mark opt-out option by September 8, you're automatically enrolled into that program. So it needs to be clear. We need to address that, otherwise it's going to be the same rollout like we had last time, 2 years ago. Somehow we need to perhaps put that on our website, showing that this is going to be a confusion part again. Even though we can cancel that program anytime, resident can, I reached out to the gentleman who came out, and he has given us his telephone number direct. Either we can call MC Square or we can call him direct, and he will be able to opt out. There is no agreement, you can still opt out. I just want to make sure that we are clear. It is not a 2-year term agreement for the Villa Park resident. So it's just a same program like ComEd, same rate. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I want to also thank Mickey's for their part in our community. It's been a traditional lunch stop after swim meets and summer fun and weekend chores to try to get child to participate in those weekend chores. So thank you for being a part of our family and our community for as long as we've been here in Villa Park. And thank you to the VFW for their partnership here in Villa Park with us for the 4th of July parade and for all of the other events that you do with us. We do appreciate that partnership. I want to remind everyone that soon all of the schools here in Villa Park will be back in session, so please be mindful as you commute around town and help keep everyone safe. That's everybody, no matter what your age. If you're walking, if you're biking, if you're busing, if you're driving, we all share that responsibility to keep everyone safe. So please keep your eyes open, look before you cross streets, slow down, take your time, and get to wherever you're going safely. Tomorrow is Women's Equality Day. Women's Equality Day is celebrated in the United States on August 26th to commemorate the 1920 adoption of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution. The 19th Amendment prohibits the states and the federal government from denying the right to vote to citizens of the United States on the basis of sex. On August 16th, 1973, Congress approved HJ Resolution 52, introduced by Congresswoman Bella Abzug of New York, which stated that August 26th would be designated as Women's Equality Day, and that, quote, "the President is authorized and requested to issue a proclamation in commemoration of that day in 1920, on which the women in America were first guaranteed the right to vote," end quote. That same day, then President Nixon issued Proclamation 4236 for Women's Equality Day, which began in part, quote, "The struggle for women's suffrage, however, was only the first step toward full and equal participation of women in our nation's life. In recent years, we have made other giant strides by attacking sex discrimination through our laws and by paving new avenues to equal economic opportunity for women," end quote. I wear white this evening to commemorate tomorrow's celebration. Why white? To honor the suffragette legacy with the color that became connected with the movement, allowed a powerful visual impact, and held symbolic meaning of equality and truth to counter to the negative stereotypes the anti-suffragists were spreading at the time. But most importantly, the tradition of wearing white stands as a symbol of connection to those who fought for equality and of those Americans who support women's rights today. I know that we're getting close to Labor Day. I can't believe that we're getting close to Labor Day. Have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend, and as always, it is an honor and a privilege to serve as your trustee. Please reach out as needed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have just a few things that I'd like to talk about. First of all, yes, Mickey's will be missed, for sure. I mean, where else can you get 2 hot dogs and fries for $7.99? I mean, yes, they're going to be missed. So congratulations and good luck to Mickey's moving forward. Earlier this morning, I had the honor and the privilege of being able to swear in Villa Park's newest police officer, Michael Hilton. And I just wanted to also say that after doing so, I received a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, congratulating the Village of Villa Park on a job well done, because Officer Hilton comes highly recommended, and we have made a good choice with that hire. So I wanted to give kudos to Chief Kubish, as well as our Police and Fire Commission for a great hire there. Just to reiterate a little bit about what Trustee Kumar said, is last week, Congressman Sean Casten did come and visit Fire Station 81. It was nice to meet with him. Thank you to Chief Stapleton for being such a gracious host. And it was a great opportunity to talk about the types of support that we have with Congressman Casten regarding federal issues moving forward. On that note, too, last week, Manager Rivas and myself were invited to the Addison Township to meet with Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. She is the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations within the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. And it was nice that we were able to honor some veterans tonight, talking with her and the township and communicating with about ways in which we can further support our local veterans. So that was a nice meeting that we had there as well. Lastly, I want to talk about some of our new commissions. Last week actually, some of our new commissions started meeting. and more in particular, the Garden Village Commission. And I would just like to say, after being there and witnessing the meeting and the conversations that were had, more in particular, Chair Steve Del Rosa asked the commission members a question. And he asked, in the time that you have, what do you see being something that you want to come out of being an appointed member of this commission? And one of the commissioners replied that all they wanted was that in 3 years, when their term was up, they wanted to be able to look at Villa Park and point at something and say, we helped do that. We helped make Villa Park a better place, and this is what we are a part of. And listening to those comments was just very refreshing, and I'm very glad that this commission in particular has real focus and a desire to move forward and make Villa Park a better place. Our next stated meeting will be September 8th, right here in the boardroom. If you also take note, September 8th is the opening season for the Chicago Bears, Monday Night Football versus the Minnesota Vikings. And I will also ask that any board member up here, if you are a Bears fan, go ahead and feel free to sport your Bears attire in celebration of the Bears' 2025-2026 season. With that being said, we are going to go to our village manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the great Bob Dylan once said, the times they are a-changin'. What I mean by that is with the swearing in of Officer Michael Hilton, welcome, and then also last week we swore in Officer Alex Strokas. Welcome to Officer Strokas, and we also welcome back a former employee, Julie Settles, in the Finance Department, so welcome to all three. And last but not least, on August 28th, it bears mentioning the retirement of Dan McCann as Deputy Chief, 30 years of service with our department. He has had an incredible contribution to this community, and everything that he has touched that has turned to gold. In the past 4.5 years that I've worked with him, I can't think of a better co-worker, an employee, deputy chief that I've ever had the occasion to work with. He's been tremendous. He's going to be a huge loss for the police department, but a huge gain for Village Hall. So I look forward to working with him closely again. And again, thank you, Deputy Chief Dan McCann, for all that you've done. End of my report, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, we're going to move into executive session. We do have 3 items. Item A, 5 ILSC 120-2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals, or specific volunteers. Also, 5 ILCS 120-2C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, as well as lastly, 5 ILC 120-2C5, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of public body. Will we be coming back into session, or will we convene from executive?
We have no action to take out.
Okay, we have no action to take, so we will convene after executive session. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constado, second.
I'll second.
Second, trustee Alfano. Voice, any discussion? Seeing none, voice vote.
Ayes?
Aye.
Nays?
Nay. I mean,
Nay.
no nays. Sorry, that was not a nay. With that being said, we'll go to executive session and convene from there. Just a reminder that our next village board meeting is September 8th at 7 p.m. Go Bears.